Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from Chart Guys, checking in on the electric vehicle sector and one battery name. I did it. Made the switch. We will now be covering plug along with the EV names. All right. So, what are we looking at today for Tesla? Tesla had some dilution news. It was not much of an offering, but it was an offering nonetheless. So, some dilution news that kind of muted the potential of a gap up. The gap up, technically, it did have a gap up open by a few pennies or so. Let's see here. Let's see. The high was 648.79, and the open, so like $3, two and change. Anyway, so the dilution news potentially threw off the gap up open a bit, but the bulls showed up, bought the dip, and closed very strong. So yesterday we were talking about how this TD series is just begun, and this is still a very good look. We had good volume on this day as well. The markets remain strong as well, so things looking okay for Tesla. So what are we looking at for here? The hourly trend is likely still bullish considering these daily candles. We are going to be looking for a daily higher low whenever the hourly trend goes bearish. Anything over 541.21 will be one. There's just no sign of that yet. All right, so the trade outlined the other day was set up well, looking for that hourly higher low. Just want to make sure that those levels were good and based off 5-minute oversold conditions, and they were, because when the price was all the way down here, you can see how the RSI is printed on this chart here. The RSI prints at 27. So let's see. I believe, yes, I have it set up at 27. So it definitely dipped below 27 during the trading day. When it was on this wick, it was certainly below 30, probably in the mid 25s. Well, we can actually get a good idea based on. Oh no, we can't look at that. Yeah, so it was oversold, so we did start our scales. You would have just got this one filled and then definitely surpassed target as well. So decent trade on just one target. I'm sorry, on just one fill, I mean. So checking out the hourly time frame, then printed another higher low and higher high. Not much follow through on the higher high yet, but closed the day strong in a potential bull flag. So what we will be looking out for tomorrow is just another hourly higher low. If the bears are able to show up tomorrow, break this low of, is this candle close? It did. Break this low of 644.23 to initiate hourly consolidation. Bulls will be scouting an hourly higher low over 620.93. Although if bears were able to begin consolidation from here, that would not be a very good look because we just broke to a higher high. If you break to a higher high straight into consolidation, it's a bit of a red flag. Okay, so ideally what will happen tomorrow is bulls will show up right away, defend and break this high over 651.28 to see new all-time highs, and then start some consolidation to have bulls scouting that higher low over 620.93. So if we're looking for that hourly higher low tomorrow, we just want to do so in 5-minute oversold conditions, and we'll use the 1226 EMA as a guide. If we were to start coming down from here, the RSI would be a little bit higher. So I'm just going to start being a little bit less conservative because I continue to receive messages about getting one fill. Just realize, everything, it's like scales, right? If you are more conservative with your zone of interest, then yes, you're likely to get fewer fills per trade, but you're also less likely to get stopped out. So it's up to you. You decide. But I'm going to be a little less conservative for these videos going forward. Okay, so yeah, RSI is going to come up is going to this line. I mean, will come up to meet price if we start coming down. So potentially something like this, looking for another hourly higher low play on Tesla. Not a terrible trade in my opinion. And this level will change if the bulls are able to show up tomorrow and start strong right away. Then we'll probably look a little bit higher. Okay, but basically 12 EMA, hourly 12 EMA, 5-minute oversold conditions is a very reasonable place, and ideally you'll have price action to support that as well. And if I look left, I can see there's plenty of market agreement here. There's here, so there is a lot of data here to support a potential hold there. It could be a cup and handle. This, I mean, we could get some tight consolidation here, potentially a cup and handle. NIO. So NIO with some daily bounce follow through. I don't think we got that one. With some daily bounce follow through. Rejection from this resistance of 48.65 at the moment. Bulls are trying to reclaim the 12 and 21, the 8 and 21 EMA as support. They are continuing to hold this channel structure. Head and shoulders are on watch for the daily time frame. Let's zoom into the hourly time frame. Hourly time frame uptrend is still healthy. Higher lows and higher highs, though again, bit of a red flag that we broke to a higher high over this high of 46.32 and then straight into consolidation. However, we are still holding above this little chop area, so it's not a terrible place to be for bulls, but ideally we would have seen some more follow through. So not a great spot right now for the bulls, because if the bears can show up and defend this high of 46.87, break this low of 45.67, they'll confirm an hourly downtrend and set that daily lower high, and in which case we will be looking for the potential of a higher low over 41.65. But given this range, I'm not terribly confident in it. If we reject from here, I would feel more comfortable bottom fishing this range again, this base of support and hourly oversold conditions. But that being said, if we can get hourly oversold, come test this channel. Not a terrible play. So let's see where that might be. It would be right down there, so it's the same. We would just be looking, not necessarily looking for a let's see, actually, yeah, that wouldn't even be a daily higher low. It would just be a defense, I should say, of this area again. And each time we come down and defend it, I'm a little less confident in it, right? Because you want to see a test and then a pull far away, not like a test, double top, and then a return. It's a little bit more questionable. Okay. So if the bulls can show up tomorrow, however, and break to higher highs over 48.30, then we will continue to scalp that daily lower high under, it's weird, under 55.55. Okay, anything under 55.55 will be a daily lower high. So potential short. If the bulls can show up tomorrow, something like that, maybe. Okay, so let's check the daily and make sure it's reasonable. I think that's a pretty reasonable place. NKLA. NKLA, still no bounce follow through. I mean, wait, hold on 1 second. Yep, inside bar today, no bounce follow through, very weak bounce as well, hovering over this base of support. Not a very good look for the bulls. 12 and 26 EMA is widening, and we got that bear cross. Again, just not a very good look for the bulls. This is still a potential bear flag. Yep, still a potential daily bull flag on the hourly time frame. Oh, I think I adjusted this. I believe I adjusted this trade today while in talking to a member. I think this was lower. If this was lower and you're thinking, what the heck happened? It's just because the 5-minute RSI. We just made some adjustments based on the 5-minute RSI. Wanted to make sure that we were scaling in when it was overbought. So we moved it up, and then because we moved it up, I just used this high over here as a stop loss, and I just gave it a little bit of wiggle room. So, I mean, it happened to play out well, but it's yeah, it was a little hairy, huh? I didn't check back in after that. I hope you are doing okay with that trade, sir. Anyway, yeah. Gosh, did I say to use? I hope I didn't say use that exact tick. I always like to give some wiggle room. I always like to give some wiggle room with stop losses and orders in general, right? Remember, it's not static, right? Like the price level here, it's not static, even though it happened to be a double top here. You kind of usually want to give it a little bit of wiggle room because it's more like a membrane. Support and resistance, it's more like a membrane than it is like a slab of concrete or something. Expect some flex, so to speak. Anyway, so if you were making this play based on our rules, 5-minute overbought using previous price action as our levels, then ideally you took this trade and had plenty of opportunity to chop, but not exactly the kind of action you want to see. Once this started occurring, this meandering down with these bear breaks getting very little follow through, this is a very good time to start considering chopping. Because you want moves like this. You want big red bars in your direction or big green bars if you're bullish, not this like it smells like a river or a creek. We don't want that. We want a waterfall, not a creek. Or a geyser, I guess. If you're bullish, a geyser. If you're bearish, a waterfall. And what's the bullish? What is the bullish equivalent of meander? Steam. We don't want steam. We want a geyser. Okay. Anyway, so short term, what are we looking out for WKHS? We're just watching this range now. Now we're just in this very tight sideways range. I don't really love any plays here. I would rather wait for the break because I don't really have much of a bias. If I had to pick a direction, it would be bearish. So I would be top if I had to, I would be top fishing these resistance levels, the $20 resistance level, looking for the potential for this daily bear flag to confirm. That being said, if the bear flag gets negated, then we'll still be scouting for that daily lower high with anything under 37.95 being one, and I would just be looking probably to be, yeah, I would be looking to top fish this 22-ish level. So let's see if we can get hourly overbought up there, and it would just be a bit higher, so something like that. Oh my goodness, this is so much range. Forget about that. Okay, hourly overbought conditions, looking for that daily lower high. Mindful of this gap, but gaps do not have to fill. You know, I've seen plenty of gaps just partially fill and then dump. Sometimes it takes years to fill, sometimes they never fill. I would not subscribe to gap theory, you know, very strictly. Well, I don't, I mean. And then for the long side, I don't hate it. It's very risky considering how weak this bounce is, but support is support and extension is extension. If we get down here, if we get down to the shelf of support and we get the hourly extended, then I think it's good for at least a potential bounce play. Okay, so remember, you know my strategy. I like to chop and then potentially stop, right? Chop and stop, I'll take that all day. Meaning chop half my position, put the stop for the rest under the low. If I stop out, that's a chop and stop, just a small win, I'll take it. WKHS just missed our zone of interest, did not quite, oh it did actually, just got to hourly oversold conditions. So if you were adjusting your levels, maybe you caught that, but I did not. On the daily, oops, let's start with the daily, I should say. So bulls are trying to set this higher low here at 2017. It would be a higher low over 1893. In order for them to be confident that they have done so, they will have had to change the hourly trend, which they have not done yet. So what the bulls will want to do tomorrow is pull back for some healthy consolidation over 2017 and break to a higher high over 2146 to confirm that hourly trend change, set that daily higher low, and have bears scouting a, I mean, I don't know, that's not a lot of range to look for a lower high under 2095 here. So I don't really love that as a bearish play, although there is all this chop here. So well, let's see where the hourly would get extended. The hourly would get extended after that gap being filled. So I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Hourly overbought into that chop zone where that gap is. I don't hate that. Okay, so maybe a bit lower. Yeah, something like that. Okay, for the bulls to break through all of this entire zone, that would be a lot of chop to break through. I would be surprised. All right, and then for a potential hourly higher low play. All right, so you want to be mindful that we don't have 12 and 26 EMA support yet, so we don't have that to use as a guide to bottom fish off of. So ideally what will happen is that tomorrow the bulls will show up right away, then pull back, come test this 12 and 26 EMA in 5-minute oversold conditions for that potential hourly higher low. Okay, so hard to say right now, but again, 12, 26 EMA, 5-minute oversold, looking for that hourly higher low, something like that. I'm probably gonna move this before tomorrow, if anybody talks to me about it. Okay, plug. Had news today. There is Battery Day news, and so broke out of this channel that we were watching, a beautiful channel break. Honestly, I should have been more cognizant of this grinding of the standard deviation band. That's one of my favorite plays. If price starts to grind within the bands, then it would, the longer that it does that, the more likely it is that the channel is being invalidated. You can see when it tests the edges of the channel in the 2 standard deviation bands, it doesn't stay there long. If it stays there for a long time, theoretically that channel has a higher likelihood of being negated. So yeah, another thing that would have probably kept you, this is why we accept our stop losses, first of all, right? I was not aware of the Battery Day news, and so it's like QS, I think, has the Battery Day news, and this is obviously a sympathy move, right? QS has some battery event tomorrow, and very bullish day, huge bullish day, gap and go. And so and now it's currently higher right now in after hours. So plug was seeing a sympathy move off of that. All things considered, I feel like that short was a bit ill-advised, just because the daily was holding the 12 and 26 EMA. Could it have worked? I think it could have worked, but with the news event as well, it was no good. If without the news event, in my opinion, I feel like it would have at least given you an opportunity to chop and then protect the rest of your position. That being said, this should have been adjusted because the hourly didn't get extended until this candle, so it should have been something like this. Still would have been stopped out, but I just want to point it out still because, you know, you should always trade properly, given the parameters of your trade. All right, so what are we looking at now? So bulls have not had any hourly consolidation. Whenever they do pull back, we'll be looking for an hourly higher low. Anything over 24.69 will be one. Close today, relatively strong near the high of day, potentially a bull flag. Obviously, we didn't get this. So, yep, just all-time high bull again. Whenever we pull back, we'll be looking for an hourly higher low. Ideally, we'll do so in 5-minute oversold conditions, bottom fishing the 12 and 26 EMA. So, something like that, in that zone of interest. I'm gonna stop drawing those long boxes. They not terribly necessary. Just gonna draw the zone of interest. Whenever the bears can change the hourly trend, bulls will also just be looking for a daily higher low over 22.25. All right, that about covers it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.